The champagne flute shattered against the marble floor of the penthouse, its fragments scattering like Liliana's crumbling resolve. "This marriage was a mistake," she whispered, her voice breaking as she stared at the frail old man in the wheelchair, his eyes hiding depths she never imagined. But it was Arabella's face in the doorway, pale stricken, that sent a jolt through her heart, revealing the first crack in the facade of their tangled lives. Liliana Ramirez wiped the sweat from her brow with the back of her hand, the din of the bustling diner in Brooklyn filling her ears like a relentless symphony. At 25, she had dreams once big, glittering ones of escaping the cycle of poverty that had trapped her immigrant family since they fled Mexico a decade ago. But reality was a stack of unpaid bills and her mother's worsening diabetes, forcing Liliana to sling greasy plates at O'Malley's diner from dawn till dusk. Tips were meager, smiles forced, and hope? That was a luxury she couldn't afford. It was on a rainy Tuesday afternoon that fate, or what felt like a cruel joke, walked through the door. Harlan Whitaker, an 80-year-old tycoon whose name graced skyscrapers across Manhattan, shuffled in with his entourage. His wheelchair hummed softly as his assistant, a poised woman with striking green eyes and auburn hair tied in a neat bun, pushed him to a corner booth. Liliana approached, notepad in hand, her uniform stained with coffee from the morning rush. "What can I get for you folks?" she asked, her voice steady despite the exhaustion weighing on her. Harlan's eyes, sharp despite his age, locked onto hers. "Coffee black. And tell me, young lady, what's a bright spark like you doing in a place like this?" Liliana chuckled, used to the flirtations of older patrons. "Paying the bills, sir. Cream or sugar?" But Harlan wasn't deterred. Over the next few weeks, he became a regular, always requesting her section. His stories of building an empire from nothing resonated with her own struggles. He spoke of loss. His wife gone for decades, no children to speak of, just a vast fortune gathering dust. And then, one evening as the diner emptied, he made his proposition. "Marry me, Liliana," he said, his voice gravelly but earnest. "I'm dying. Doctors give me months. I need someone to inherit, someone real. Not those vulture relatives circling. In return, your family gets security, medical bills paid, a house, education for your siblings. It's a business deal, nothing more." Liliana's heart pounded. She wasn't naive, she knew what this looked like. But the weight of her mother's insulin costs, her brother's community college tuition, it crushed her. And deep down, in the quiet nights when she allowed herself to feel, she knew her heart leaned toward women. A secret she'd buried under survival. A sham marriage? Could be her escape. I need time," she stammered. "Take it," Harlan replied, sliding a card across the table. "But don't wait too long. Time's not on my side." That night, tossing in her cramped apartment, Liliana weighed the madness. Marriage to an old man? It was absurd, desperate. But desperation was her constant companion. By morning, she called the number. The wedding was a quiet affair in a Manhattan courthouse. Just Harlan, Liliana, a judge, and Harlan's assistant Arabella Voss. Arabella, 28, with her impeccable suits and quiet efficiency, had handled the paperwork with a cool detachment that unnerved Liliana. "Congratulations," Arabella said afterward, her handshake firm but her eyes avoiding Liliana's. They moved Liliana into Harlan's sprawling penthouse overlooking Central Park, a world of crystal chandeliers and echoing hallways. Harlan's health confined him to his suite, nurses attending around the clock. Liliana felt like an intruder, wandering the vast spaces, her waitress shifts a thing of the past. On their first night as husband and wife, Harlan chuckled from his bed. "Don't worry, girl. This is platonic. Sleep in the guest room. Just keep me company sometimes. Tell me stories." Liliana nodded, relief flooding her. But as days passed, isolation crept in. Harlan slept most hours, leaving her alone with her thoughts, and Arabella, who came and went like a shadow, managing Harlan's affairs. It started innocently. One evening, as rain pelted the windows, Liliana found Arabella in the library, poring over documents. "Mind if I join? This place is too quiet." Arabella looked up, surprise flickering in her eyes. "Sure. Wine." They talked about books, New York winters, the grind of city life. Arabella's poise cracked slightly. She shared snippets of her past, growing up in foster care, clawing her way through law school on scholarships. Harlan gave me a chance when no one else would, she said softly. He's more than a boss. Liliana felt a pull, an unfamiliar warmth. Arabella's laugh was genuine, her insights sharp. Nights blurred into shared dinners, walks in the park below. Liliana confided her fears, her hidden identity. I've never told anyone, but men aren't my thing. This marriage. It's safe, I guess. Arabella's gaze lingered. Safe can be lonely. By the end of the first week, the air between them crackled. During a late-night conversation in the kitchen, their hands brushed while reaching for the same bottle. Time froze. Arabella's eyes met Liliana's, and in that moment something ignited. A spark of recognition, of shared longing. But then the secret surfaced. Liliana was sorting through Harlan's desk drawers, looking for a book he'd mentioned, when she found the envelope. Marked confidential. It spilled photos and letters. Her hands trembled as she read. Harlan wasn't childless. He had a daughter, estranged, hidden from the world. And the photos? They showed a young woman with auburn hair, green eyes. Arabella. The room spun. Arabella was Harlan's daughter? Why the secrecy? And worse, what did this mean for the inheritance, the marriage? Confrontation came that night. Why didn't you tell me? Liliana demanded, thrusting the papers at Arabella in the library. Arabella's face paled. It's complicated. Harlan disowned me years ago, after I came out. He said no deviant would inherit. But he hired me back as his assistant under a different name. This marriage. It's his way of cutting me out for good. Liliana's heart fractured. So I'm just a pawn? To spite you? Tears welled in Arabella's eyes. No. I pushed him to choose you. Because I saw you in that diner, Liliana. Your strength, your kindness. I fell for you before you even knew my name. The confession hung heavy. A mix of betrayal and raw emotion. Liliana stepped back, torn between anger and the undeniable pull toward Arabella. How could love bloom from such deception? The penthouse felt like a gilded cage as Liliana grappled with the revelation. Arabella's words echoed in her mind. I fell for you before you even knew my name. It was a confession laced with vulnerability. But the sting of manipulation burned deep. Liliana paced the balcony, the city lights blurring through her tears. Below, New York pulsed with life. Couples strolling, taxis honking, while her world unraveled. That night, she avoided Arabella, retreating to her room. Sleep evaded her. Instead, memories flooded in. Her first crush in high school, a girl named Sophia. Hidden kisses behind the bleachers. Coming out to her family would have shattered them. Traditional values clashing with her truth. Marrying Harlan had been a shield. A way to provide without exposing her heart. Now that shield cracked. Morning brought Harlan's frail voice calling her. She entered his suite, the air thick with antiseptic. Sit, child, he rasped, gesturing to the chair. His eyes, clouded but perceptive, studied her. You found the papers. Liliana nodded, anger flaring. Why lie? About Arabella, about everything. Harlan sighed, a wheeze escaping his lips. Pride. Regret. When Arabella told me she loved women, I reacted poorly. Old fool that I am. Disowned her, but couldn't let go entirely. Hired her back incognito. This marriage. It's my atonement. I saw how she looked at you in the diner. Thought. Maybe I could give her happiness indirectly. So you used me, Liliana said, voice trembling. No, Harlan countered. I gave you a choice. And her? A chance. Life's too short for regrets, Liliana. Mine are plenty. His words lingered as she left, conflicted. Arabella waited in the hallway, eyes red-rimmed. Can we talk? They walked to Central Park, the autumn leaves crunching underfoot. Arabella spoke haltingly. I was 18 when he kicked me out. Bounced between homes, worked 3 jobs through college. When he offered the assistant role, I took it, needed the stability. But watching him court you, it hurt. Because I wanted you for myself. Liliana's pulse quickened. That's not fair. You let me marry him knowing the truth. I know, Arabella admitted. Cowardice. But these past days being close to you, it's real. Tell me you don't feel it too. Liliana hesitated. The truth? She did. Arabella's touch, her laugh. It stirred something dormant. But trust? Shattered. Days blurred into tentative reconciliation. They shared meals, stories of past heartbreaks. Arabella opened up about her ex, a controlling woman who'd left scars. Liliana spoke of her family's expectations, the weight of being the provider. Slowly, walls crumbled. One evening, as jazz played softly in the living room, Arabella took Liliana's hand. "Dance with me." They swayed, bodies close but not touching boundaries. Liliana's head rested on Arabella's shoulder, inhaling her scent, lavender and resolve. "This is dangerous," Liliana murmured. "Love always is," Arabella replied. But shadows loomed. Harlan's relatives, distant cousins sniffing inheritance, began circling. Whispers of contesting the will reached them. And then betrayal struck. Liliana overheard a phone call in Arabella's office. "Yes, the marriage is solid. But if we play this right, the prenup has loopholes. I can ensure the bulk goes to me, us." Heart-pounding, Liliana confronted her. "Who was that?" "Your lawyer." Arabella froze. "It's not what you think. Those relatives are vultures. I'm protecting us, Harlan's wishes." But doubt seeded. Was Arabella genuine, or scheming for the fortune? Liliana's mind raced. The arranged marriage, the hidden identity. Was their connection just another layer of deception? That night, storm raging outside, they argued. "I thought you loved me," Liliana cried. "But it's all about the money." Arabella's face crumpled. "No. I love you, Liliana. But I've fought for everything. I can't lose it all again." The words hung, a chasm opening. Liliana stormed out, wandering rain-slicked streets, soaked and shattered. How had hope turned to heartbreak so swiftly? She returned hours later, finding Arabella asleep on the couch, tear-streaked. Gently, Liliana covered her with a blanket. Forgiveness? Not yet. But the pull remained. As Harlan's health declined, tensions mounted. Doctors predicted weeks. Arabella buried herself in work, avoiding Liliana's gaze. Yet, in quiet moments, their hands found each other. A silent promise amid chaos. One afternoon in the park, Liliana broke the silence. "Tell me everything. No more secrets." Arabella nodded. "The call was to my old mentor. Harlan's will leaves most to charity, a portion to you, and me as executor. But relatives are suing. I was strategizing defense, not betrayal." Relief washed over Liliana. "I believe you." Their first kiss came then, under a canopy of golden leaves, soft, tentative, electric. It sealed a bond forged in fire. But fate twisted again. Harlan summoned them both. "I have one last secret," he wheezed. Harlan's revelation hit like a thunderclap. Propped in his bed, monitors beeping softly, he handed them a faded letter. "Arabella isn't my biological daughter," he confessed. "Her mother was my wife's best friend. After my wife died, I had an affair, brief, regretful. Arabella was the result. I supported them secretly, but when her mother passed, I took her in. Disowned her publicly after she came out, but never in my heart." Arabella staggered back. "Why hide this?" "Shame," Harlan admitted. "And protection from tabloids, from greedy kin. But now with death knocking, truth sets us free." Liliana held Arabella as she sobbed, the weight of years lifting and crushing simultaneously. This explained the secrecy, the assistant guise. But it deepened the betrayal. Harlan's love twisted by prejudice. In the ensuing days, emotions swirled. Arabella grappled with her identity, questioning roots. Liliana became her anchor, their bond strengthening amid turmoil. They spent nights talking, crying, laughing, building a foundation on honesty. Yet external storms brewed. Harlan's cousins filed a lawsuit, claiming undue influence in the marriage. Reporters sniffed around, tabloids hinting at scandal. "Gold digger bride hides lesbian affair," one headline screamed. Liliana's family, now in a modest brownstone thanks to Harlan's generosity, worried. Her mother called. "Mija, is this true? About you and that woman?" Liliana's coming out was raw, over the phone. "Yes, Mama. I love her." Silence then. "Bring her home. We'll talk." Acceptance flickered, a humanistic thread in the drama. But betrayal reared again, this time from within. Arabella, stressed by legal battles, confided in an old flame, Elena, a cutthroat attorney. Liliana discovered texts. Late-night meetings, flirtatious tones. Jealousy ignited. Are you cheating? Liliana demanded, phone in hand. Arabella's eyes widened. No. Elena's helping with the case. Old history, nothing more. But the seed of doubt grew. Arguments escalated, words like daggers. You used me once, why not again? Liliana hurled. Arabella flinched. I thought we were past this. The climax came during a heated court hearing. Relatives accused Liliana of fraud, Arabella of manipulation. On the stand, Arabella defended. This marriage was Harlan's choice. But my love for Liliana? That's real. Liliana's heart swelled, but post-hearing, Elena cornered Arabella in the hallway, lips brushing her cheek. Liliana saw world-shattering. She fled to Brooklyn, back to the diner, familiar ground. O'Malley welcomed her with a hug. Kid, you look like hell. Hours later, Arabella arrived, rain-drenched. It's not what you think. Elena kissed me, I pushed away. You're the one, Liliana. Always. Tears mixed with rain. Prove it. Arabella did, firing Elena, transparent henceforth. They reconciled in the diner's booth, where it began. Harlan passed peacefully that night, nurses calling. At his bedside we'll read. Fortune split, charities, Liliana's family, and Arabella reinstated as heir. A note. Love who you love. Forgive an old man. Grief bonded them. Funeral was somber, relatives thwarted. But healing began. In the aftermath, Liliana and Arabella navigated their relationship. Dates in cozy cafes, walks hand in hand. Challenges remained, societal stares, internal scars, but love deepened. One evening on the penthouse balcony, Arabella knelt. Marry me for real this time. Liliana laughed through tears. Yes. But life ever dramatic threw a curve. Arabella's health scare, a lump, benign but terrifying, reminded them of fragility. It humanized their bond, emphasizing cherishing moments. They traveled California beaches, New England falls, building memories. Liliana pursued art, long-suppressed passion. Arabella advocated for LGBTQ rights, honoring Harlan's redemption. Conflicts arose. Cultural clashes with Liliana's family, Arabella's workaholism. But communication bridged gaps. A year-on wedding planned intimate in Central Park. Vows exchanged under blooming trees, rings symbolizing resilience. Yet, the story's humanistic core shone in quiet acts. Liliana volunteering at shelters, Arabella funding scholarships. Love wasn't just romance. It was growth, forgiveness. As they danced at reception, Liliana whispered, "From secrets to forever." Arabella smiled. Worth every tear. The honeymoon in Napa Valley was a balm to their souls. Vineyards stretching under azure skies, wine tastings laced with laughter. Liliana and Arabella, now wives in every sense, reveled in the freedom. No more secrets, no looming shadows. But life, with its humanistic twists, reminded them perfection was illusion. Back in New York, routine settled. Liliana enrolled in art school, her canvases bursting with color. Portraits of Arabella, abstracts of their turmoil. Arabella scaled back work, focusing on philanthropy. Harlan's fortune fueled dreams. A foundation for queer youth, echoing their struggles. Yet drama lingered. An ex of Arabella's, not Elena but a ghost from college, resurfaced, demanding closure, stirring old wounds. She says I broke her heart, Arabella confessed one night, head in hands. Liliana felt the familiar sting of insecurity. Do you regret us? Never, Arabella assured, pulling her close. They talked through dawn, unpacking baggage. It strengthened them, a testament to emotional depth. Family integrations brought warmth. Liliana's mother hosted dinners. Arabella charming with broken Spanish. She's good for you, Mija, Mama said, hugging them both. But betrayal's echo returned subtly. A distant relative, bitter from the will contest, leaked stories to the press. Headlines blared. Millionaire's fake bride turns lesbian heir, scandal exposed. Public scrutiny intensified. Paparazzi hounded, online trolls spewed hate. Liliana's art show opening turned chaotic, protesters outside. This is America, land of the free, she vented. Arabella rallied. We'll fight. Together. They did, interviews, op-eds turning pain into advocacy. Support poured in. Letters from young queers inspired by their story. Humanism prevailed. Vulnerability connected. Romance bloomed in small acts. Surprise picnics. Notes in lunchboxes. One stormy night, power out, they huddled by candlelight. "Remember our first dance?" Arabella asked. Liliana smiled. "How could I forget?" They swayed in the dark, heart sinking. Climax revisited in a health crisis. Liliana's mother hospitalized. Arabella coordinated care, holding vigil. "Family now," she said. Recovery brought gratitude. At a family gathering, Liliana's brother toasted, "To love that conquers." As years hinted, anniversaries marked, their bond deepened. Conflicts? Inevitable. Arabella's perfectionism clashed with Liliana's spontaneity. But therapy helped, tools for growth. A pivotal moment. Adopting a rescue dog, symbolic of nurturing. "Our little family," Liliana beamed. Yet tragedy loomed. Arabella's biopsy returned. Cancer early stage. Fear gripped. "I can't lose you," Liliana sobbed. Treatments were grueling. Chemo fatigue. Liliana became caregiver, roles reversing. Emotional rawness surfaced. Anger at fate, tenderness in quiet. Arabella's remission party was joyous. Toasts to resilience. "You saved me," she told Liliana. "No, we saved each other." The story's arc curved toward hope. They mentored others, sharing lessons. Betrayal teaches trust, drama forges strength. In a quiet cafe years later, Liliana reflected. "From a diner to this, unbelievable." Arabella squeezed her hand. "Believable. Because it's us." Their love, American in its grit and grace, endured. A beacon of humanity. Seasons cycled, marking their journey's evolution. New York winters blanketed the city in snow, mirroring the calm after storms. Liliana's art gained acclaim. A gallery show featuring pieces inspired by their saga. Whispers of resilience. Critics praised the emotional depth, the romantic humanism woven in strokes. Arabella, post-remission, channeled energy into law reform, lobbying for LGBTQ protections. Harlan's legacy, she called it, redeeming his flaws. Conflicts persisted, humanistic in nature. A rift when Liliana considered moving west for inspiration. "I need space to create," she argued. Arabella feared loss. "Am I not enough?" Compromise. Summers in California, roots in New York. It taught flexibility, love's adaptability. Betrayal's final shadow? A forged document surfaced, relatives' last gasp, claiming Harlan's will invalid. Court battles reignited, stress mounting. In the midst, a surprise. Arabella proposed surrogacy. "A child? Our family." Liliana's eyes lit. "Yes, but after this mess." They won the case, truth prevailing. Celebration. A vow renewal, intimate on the balcony where it deepened. The surrogate journey was emotional. Appointments, hopes, fears. Birthday. A girl named Harper after Harlan. Cradling her, tears flowed. "She's perfect," Arabella whispered. Parenthood amplified romance. Stolen kisses amid diapers, walks with stroller in park. Challenges, sleepless nights balancing careers, but joy outweighed. Years on, Harper grew inquisitive. "How did you meet?" she'd ask. Liliana smiled. "In a diner with a side of secrets." Storytime became tradition, edited for youth. A tale of love conquering odds. Aging gracefully, they reflected. Liliana, gray-streaking hair. "No regrets." Arabella. "Only that it took so long to find you." Their ending? Not tragic but humanistic, happy in imperfection. Philanthropy thrived, inspiring generations. In quiet moments, hands entwined, they embodied resilience. As sun set over Central Park, Liliana murmured, "From desperation to this, love's true secret." Arabella nodded. "Forever ours." The city hummed below, a testament to lives intertwined, dramatic, emotional, romantic, profoundly American.